The Space Wolves of Ragnar Blackmane's great company have hounded the traitor Space Marine legions of the Plaguebringer warband across the galaxy. Following their last ship into the warp, Karnak's Shadowmane of Ragnar's Wolfguard lead the strike cruiser Cold Wolf and a band of the company's warriors to pursue these traitors. The Cold Wolf and Carrion's Call are both dragged across the warp and spat out into real space in orbit of a nearby Imperial world, the world of Australise. Continuing their battle, the Space Wolves cripple the Chaos vessel and send it plummeting to the surface. Knowing the traitors likely abandoned the ship as it crashed, Karnax prepares to deploy his battle brothers to the surface, but must first find his quarry. His Iron Priest advises him to recover the damaged Cognus core from the Carrion's Call on the surface. If any of the machine is salvageable, they may be able to learn of the evacuation coordinates that the traitors used, so that they may deploy swiftly to destroy the scattered survivors. Eric Onetooth leads the scouting force to retrieve the device, but soon finds himself confronted by a Dark Eldar witch cult that has chosen on this particular day to hunt down the powerful forces through the thicket.
Okay, so this is the Dark Eldar army in today's battle.
Yep, day 3 of Warzone Australise. We're pitting the 500 points of the Dark Eldar against 500 points of Space Wolves. Now, as you know, in the story time of this, the Space Wolves are trying to reach the Cognus engine at the Cognus core and to find out where the Chaos Marines have gone. And our Dark Eldar Succubus and witches have decided what better fun than to hunt some Space Wolves. So
in the army today we have a Succubus.
Yep, which was provided for free.
She is equipped with the halberd, the whip, the armor of misery,
which she'll keep till she dies.
She will be joining a squadron of a group of 3 Incubus, and they're mounted inside a standard Venom with two cannons.
2 splinter cannons.
That's it.
Yeah.
Splinter cannons. There are 2 squads of witches. Each one is a squad of 5. Each one has exactly the same upgrades, which is the gauntlets and Hecatrix with a whip.
Okay.
Then at the back here we've got a group of 6 Reavers. 2 of them have cluster caltrops and no other upgrades.
Okay.
And then we've got a squad of 6 Hellions, and they've got an upgraded leader with the whip.
Yep.
The Agonizer.
And the Succubus is the Warlord. We get to roll on Warlord table, we'll tell you that later.
The Succubus will be the Warlord for this army. Now over here to the Space Wolves.
So the Space Wolves have 4 squads of Grey Hunters. So this one's got combi melters, this one's got melter and combi melter, plasma combi plasma, flamer combi flamer, and then another plasma. And then they've got a scout squad that have bolters and heavy bolters, and then they've got a long fang squad that has 2 plasma cannons and 2 heavy bolters, and by their sergeant mounted in a drop pod. And that's their 500 points. The Warlord will be Eric Onetooth here, so this sergeant. We haven't rolled on his Warlord table either yet.
Alright, so we'll be back after we deploy and roll on Warlord traits.
Alright, so with deployment done, for this mission, we rolled off and selected a board edge, and the Space Wolves won that roll off and have deployed on this board edge within 12 inches of it. Table corner. Anyway, and the Dark Eldar have deployed opposite. These guys, of course, riding inside their Venom. So this is the terrain, and for this scenario, it's this single objective here in the center. Whoever holds, if you hold that at the end of your turn, you will score a point. The faction with the most points at the end will win the game. The rest of the special rules will be explained in story time, and we'll have a link below to the mission.
Assume this mission still has first blood.
This mission still has First Blood and Slay the Warlord going. No behind enemy lines. And the Dark Eldar have first turn. So we'll just see if...
Sneeze.
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 Alright, and no. The wolves do not seize. So, first turn goes to Dark Eldar. Alright, so end of the Dark Eldar movement phase. The Dark Eldar have advanced everything up. Bikes going down the center, witches and Hellions flanking, with these witches lagging behind. So now we're on to shooting phase, and it's night fighting. So
Saves.
cover
Stealth.
saves. Well, stealth saves for these guys, but you brought it the detachment, so you'll get bigger cover saves when it comes to Space Marine shooting.
Yes.
It's only night fighting for the first turn, unlike day 2. So,
Let's begin.
so in the Dark Eldar shooting phase, these witches ran forward. This Venom took some shots at these scouts, killing 3 of them, but they passed the morale check easily enough. These guys turbo boosted forward a little bit to get within the objective range. These witches ran forward, and these Hellions ran forward. Dark Eldar assault phase, nothing going on.
Nope, so now we go to your...
Well,
First
before
turn.
that, you clearly control this objective, so the
1 point for me.
so 1 point for the Dark Eldar. And now we go on to Space Wolves. Turn 1. So Space Wolves moved up, advancing their forces slowly through the brush, seeing some Dark Eldar.
Except for the scouts, apparently.
Except the scouts, who stayed where they were, hoping to fire that heavy bolter during the shooting phase, without having to snap shoot. So, without further ado, let's go into the shooting phase.
Yeah.
So, in the Space Wolf shooting phase, these wolves ran. These guys peppered the Hellions and killed one of them. This squad here peppered the Hellions the same, taking out one of them. Passed a lot of 5-up saves. The combined fire of the scouts and this plasma squad managed to eliminate one of those bikes who had a 2-up cover save. Yikes. But it was enough to get them off the objective, so they won't score another point this turn. So, now we go into Dark Eldar, turn 2. So in the Dark Eldar movement phase, these witches have advanced forward, the Venom has moved forward, and from it has disembarked the Succubus, Succubus Alaria,
Yes.
and her retinue. These bikes have moved on forward, and these Hellions are still moving to flank the Space Wolves. So now we go into shooting phase for the Dark Eldar.
So Dark Eldar shooting phase, the Venom here shot at that squad
Chipped away at 2 of them.
and killed 2 of them. The bikes also snapshot at that squad but killed none. Over here, the Hellions
They shot at this
fired
squad
at the
and managed to
closest
get 2 of
squad
them.
and killed 2 of them.
Meanwhile, these guys ran forward.
Yes, and these girls just continue to run forwards. And now we go into assault phase.
Yes. So in the assault phase, these bikes declared a charge against this squad with Eric in it, but Overwatch returned no fire, using up Eric's combi melter, and they failed their charge distance with only 4 inches. Meanwhile, the Succubus and her Incubi charged. 2 Incubi died to Overwatch, and then the remaining Incubi and Succubus made it in and left all but one, the Sergeant, alive, and he failed to score any hits when he struck back. So, that brings us into turn 2 for Space Wolves, with
And
reinforcements arriving.
At the end, I control the objective again.
Yes, you do. So, another point for Dark Eldar. Let's see if we can change that, shall we?
So the Devastator squad dropped down and landed on target here, sneaking up behind the witch squads there. Over here, the squads have advanced forward, while the commander has advanced towards the Helions. And the scouts have stayed still.
Yeah.
And this combat will continue on in this phase. Now for Space Wolf shooting phase, let's see how much damage they can do.
So in a spectacular failure of a turn, these guys arrived, failed to kill anything over there, managed to kill a single witch. This squad over here managed to kill, with all of its plasma fire and all of its fire, managed to kill a single bike. This squad here managed to kill no bikes. This squad here managed to kill 2 Helions, and the scout squad continue to fail at life. Once again, leaving Space Wolves with no points, and we're literally just screwed at this point, as we go into assault phase where this guy's just gonna die. Alright, and he died. He died. It's what more? So they consolidated it. He died.
Hack slash hack.
And because I rapid fired, I couldn't assault with these because my idiot self, and this just has not gone. This turn has not gone as planned for the Space Wolves. So, turn 3 Dark Eldar. So, the Dark Eldar Succubus and her bodyguard moved up here. The Helions, did they use their jet?
Yes, they use their jump pack.
Yeah, to get up to there. The bikes fell back. This guy snugged up against the objective. These girls came running down, and these girls over here are going to go kill themselves some Space Marines. And that's it for movement phase, Dark Eldar. Alright, so Eldar shooting phase. The Reavers and the Witches pelted this squad and managed to kill one of them. This Venom managed to kill one of these, the Plasma guy. These guys missed all their attacks, and these guys failed to wound the Space Wolves. So now we're on to the Dark Eldar's favorite time, assault time. So there was lots of Overwatch coming out of this squad, lots of plasma fire, but it failed to kill any of the bikes, and then the witches got in. Over here, the Overwatch happened, nothing hit, so they ran in unmolested. These guys ran in unmolested, and then these guys ran in very unmolested after 2 heavy bolters hit with 1 attack each, and then the one that wounded got its 5-up feel no bang. So I'm pretty sure the wolves are. Alright, so in the combat phase, just the squad that was here got murdered, the squad that was here got murdered, the squad that was here got murdered, and the only guys who even survived their combat are these guys who managed to kill 2 witches and lost 1 guy in the process, but the witches stayed. So now we enter turn 3 for the Space Wolves, who literally have 3 things left to do. Alright, so skip the movement phase. In the shooting phase, these guys fired their pistols and managed to kill 1 Helion. This drop pod shot at the rear armor of this and did not glance it. And now we move on to the assault phase. Alright, so at the end of this, these guys assaulted and failed to do anything.
They killed 1.
No, that was in the shooting phase.
Right.
Meanwhile, up here, the witches killed 1 and the Marines killed 1 back. And simply because of the nature, so you'll go up to 6 points, which is just grounds for insta end of this game.
6-0. So at this stage,
6-0.
I think the Space Wolves cut their losses and retreat.
Yeah,
leaving the Cognitus generator where it is, which the Dark
Yep.
Elder completely ignore as they haul away their latest victim, one Elric.
we don't know yet.
Oh, that's true.
We'll have to find out. So, for now, we'll find out the results of this battle, whether or not Eric lives, and then we'll find out at a later date, I suppose. And then we'll stay tuned for our usual segment of MVE and MVU. So, now it's time for most valuable and useless units. So, straight up, Space Wolves have elected this drop pod.
And the Dark Elder player has agreed for simplicity's sake.
Yeah. That drop pod was MVE because everything else was useless to a degree.
Yeah.
And it was like the one thing we received for free and just...
It was hard to pick anything that performed better,
Yeah.
which is saying a lot.
saying a lot for how they did.
As
It
for
rolled the
Dark-
least number of ones in my army.
As for the Dark Elder vest, we both agreed that it was the unit of Reaver jet bikes. They refused to die, and even though they failed their first charge, once they got their charge in, they instantly slaughtered the unit that they charged. So they did really well.
And now, most useless unit was the guys riding in that drop pod because those two plasma cannons never even fired. Not once. Most expensive thing in the Space Wolf army.
They certainly underperformed, didn't they?
Oh yeah, not even those heavy bolters could kill anything. That was just... all the work was done by the sergeant. Just... that's just depressing. And these
Most
guys were
useless.
also pretty depressing.
The most useless Dark Elder unit was this squad of witches, because they didn't even get to attack anything.
They got into combat, but everything died in Initiative 710.
Yeah, everything died thanks to the Bike's Hammer of Wrath stealing the show with their cluster caltrops.
Yep. So that's it for day 3 of Warzone Australise. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. All the rules will be up with this. So, next time.